he doesn't want to take any chances with that type of thing. So, Birds of Paradise eats a gut shot. Gerry down to 18 now. And Michael on turn 2 going to have a Strangleroot Geist crashing in here.
There it is.
Strangleroot Geist coming in. Gerry Thompson falling to 16 now. Turn 2 of Strangleroot Geist on the play is very strong against Delver, especially when they have
no main deck Phantasmal Images for Gerry.
Yes,
to be able to deal with
the Phantasmal Images. I believe Gerry does have 3 Phantasmal Images in his post-sideboard.
He does,
though. So
yeah, Gerry's list not very strong to a Snapcaster Mage, or not a Snapcaster Mage, a Strangleroot Geist. His 3-drop of choice is Geist of St. Traft instead of Blade Splicer, and he has no main deck Phantasmal Image. Although he does have a Silvergill Adept, which is going to show Inferno Titan, Phyrexian Metamorph, and 2 more lands.
And Michael can just metamorph his Strangleroot Geist and continue to push here.
He did draw a Green Sun Zenith for this turn.
That's an interesting draw step because he has a few different options here. I think in general you might want to have the Metamorph in your hand right now more than you'd want the Green Sun Zenith, but it's extremely marginal. And Gerry knows about the Metamorph, and Gerry does not know about the Green Sun Zenith. So Michael's got to make a decision here. Also, you don't have to pay life for the Green Sun Zenith, but
that seems much less relevant. He's decided that the Metamorph is the better play. Yep. Let Gerry see the card that he's already seen.
And that pause there, though, is going to tell Gerry that Michael drew something that competes with that play, and that's got to be.
And he has seen the list. The list includes Daybreak Ranger, which I'm sure he would have played instead. I think a Borderland Ranger. Although he paused, I think that those are the 2 possibilities. And then Green Sun Zenith. Birthing Pod would have also been an option,
Although, to be honest, I think the only card he paused like that on is Green Sun Zenith.
Yeah, I agree. So Gerry down to 10 now, quickly falling down into dangerous life total range. Important to note, of course, that since this is a 5-game set, the post-board matches are significantly more important than the pre-board matches.
Yes. Normally, they're about equally important.
Yeah, because having the game 1 win and only having to win 1 of the next 2. So this is going to be Green Sun Zenith for 3. Will it resolve? Gerry has a Vapor Snag, among other things, in his hand. Sword of War and Peace, and a Restoration Angel. There's a close-up. Let's see if we can get any other information. A Plains is what I saw.
To see is that a Dismember? It is, and that's Dismember's pretty dangerous right now because Gerry's at 10.
So he did it for 3 to go get a Strangleroot Geist at 2. Possibly just to bluff.
Yeah, just giving less information on what is actually going to happen. Because if Gerry has, let's say Gerry has a play where he's going to untap and play a removal spell. If Michael goes and grabs the Daybreak Ranger, then he may let it resolve where he would not have let a Green Sun for 2 that was going to grab the 3rd Strangleroot Geist resolve. And by grabbing the extra Strangleroot Geist, Michael correctly identifies that if Gerry's passing the turn here, it means that he has some combination of Dismembers, Gut Shots, and Vapor Snags, at least 2. And there he wants the Strangleroot Geist more than any other card. So yes, he's going to be getting one of these Strangleroot Geist Vapor Snagged. Going to drop to 8 here.
And blocking one of them. Also.
Phyrexian Metamorph coming back. So
there's a counter. No one has any dice over there in the feature match area. And it's going to get Dismember, dropping Gerry to 4. So while a slightly more manageable situation, still quite difficult for Gerry.
Yeah,
he does know that Michael only has Bonfire of the Damned for burn, although Michael could play land in the Zealous Conscripts, for example.
essentially like a burn spell. Michael also has an Inferno Titan in his hand, which is burn in of itself. So if Michael gets to play 2 more lands, we could see an Inferno Titan enter the battlefield and end the game immediately. So Gerry will be put in a situation where he's unable to tap out basically ever
for the rest
Michael
of the game.
Gets to 6 lands here.
Yes.
And somebody's saying that, for the record, Hetrick does split all the time. But he didn't split here.
He didn't split here. Certainly
That's
not.
what matters.
I imagine that that he'll split more in smaller events when he wants to save time and enter more events. But that's just whatever the case may be, whatever the reasoning was, he did decide not to split here. Michael plays the Strangleroot once again, coming in.
Yep. Going to make Gerry have an answer right now.
Well, Gerry has the Moorland Haunt, at least, so he'll be able to fall to 2.
But if Gerry Moorland Haunts here, he's, going to 2.
Yeah.
And it's
not looking good.
Pretty rough for him.
This is a birthing pod, yeah.
Next turn, Michael will be able to. He can go up the chain pretty high because he can sacrifice Strangleroot to give us a Searex Arc and then untap the pod. And then,
Gerry decides to commit seppuku.
Yes.
With his own Gitaxian probe there. So we'll move on to flipping that token out of the way. It's one of the things I like about watching Gerry on camera is he's very flamboyant and entertaining with his flourishes and different movements on camera.
Have you ever seen him play Vintage?
No.
Oh, it's so much fun. I watched him play Vintage in Japan, and he was playing against a Japanese player, and the manner in which he windmilled an Inkwell Leviathan
after tinkering
was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. It was the swirl of the hand motion, and it only took like 2 seconds, but it was like beautiful, and then it like floated out of his hand and onto the table.
I've seen
the Japanese player just conceded.
Yeah. I've seen Gerry take a card, hold it about a foot above the table, and then drop it so that it floated down perfectly. That's a good one. He usually does that when he's like reading it way up here, turns it sideways to be parallel to the table, floats down right into the middle of the board, and then the opponent almost always concedes to whatever he's just played. Because why would you do that with like a basic land or something, But yes, very. I enjoy watching him. I'm another kind of player that likes to do kind of flamboyant stuff like that, just to entertain the folks at home.
So Michael Hetrick taking down game 1 in a deciding fashion.
Quite quickly.
Game 1 there.
Yeah, Gerry not set up to deal well with 1 Strangleroot Geist, let alone 3. So looking at the sideboards here, what do you think about what will Gerry bring in?
Looking at these sideboards, Gerry's bringing in 3 copies of Phantasmal Image. He's going to bring in some Hero Blade Holds probably, and then we can expect a Divine Offering for sure. Timely Reinforcements without a doubt. So, then he's got to take some stuff out, though. And,
he's got 8 cards to bring in.
It's pretty rough. Sword of War and Peace, pretty bad here.
Yeah, I would really almost certainly imagine that he's going to take those out.
Restoration Angel, quite good against what Michael's doing. Geist of St. Trap, not very good.
Right.
As long as Michael has 2 points of power on the table, Gerry can't really get aggressive with the Geist of St. Trapped, and on defense, it's just a Grey Ogre.
And he's bringing in Phantasmal Image, he's bringing in Timely Reinforcements, and he's bringing in Hero of Bladehold. So it's not like he's taking out threats and not replacing them with more creatures. So I think that he could take out Geist of St. Trapped.
Yeah, I think taking out Geist is definitely right.
So that's 6 that we can take out for the 8 that we want to bring in.
And another 2 cards need to come out. I'd say
that we can't take out probes here. Probes are not very important against a lot of decks, but with all of the singletons in Michael's deck, it's important to know what he's working with at any given time.
I mean, Gerry's kind of on a bare minimum of cantrips in his main deck, so I don't think you can touch those. I think his mana leaks might be good on the play.
I agree. I think that those might come out on the draw. It's possible.
But they're malleable. So, like, something that might happen is we might see Gerry do something like not bring in his timely reinforcements on the play and stick with a more aggressive game plan, and then have his timely reinforcements on the draw and take out the mana leaks.
Sure.
So that's definitely something we could see. You bring in like 2 timelies and 1 celestial purge, so bring in 9 cards and take out all 3 mana leaks on the draw.
I could certainly see that happen.
Whereas you leave in the 3 mana leaks on the play.
Yeah.
Don't bring in any of those. So
on Michael's side of the board, he's got 2 Crushing Vines.
yes, Crushing Vine's definitely coming in here. Other cards, Blade Splicer, wouldn't be surprised to see. Oh no, sorry. So the Hell Riders may or may not come in. I don't think they do.
The Stinger Flame Spider,
without a doubt, coming in.
Of course.
The 1 Ancient Grudge coming in.
Possibly, although we think Gerry will take out the swords.
Yeah, but I think Michael's still going to bring it in. I don't think that. I mean, you can't really leave yourself naked to it. Maybe you can. I don't know. So Stinger Fling Spider and Consecrated Sphinx, and the Crushing Vines and the Kessig Wolf Run are the obvious choices. Consecrated Sphinx coming in, obviously here. One of the best ways to beat Restoration Angel is Consecrated Sphinx. One of the best ways to beat just about anything is Consecrated Sphinx. If you can get it to stick, it's going to win you the game. And Michael's deck does a very good job of applying enough early pressure where Gerry's going to need to burn those Vapor Snags and burn those Dismembers and Gut Shots so that he can't combo kill the Consecrated Sphinx. And then once Michael resolves it, it might just be it.
So Michael's opener is Bird of Paradise, Forest, Crushing Vines, Deceiver Exarch, Island, Forest, Kessig Wolf Run. Michael hearts the fatties, according to his sleeves. And Gerry, after the Gitaxian Probe going to 18, he will ponder.
All right, so Gerry, looking to assemble some type of aggression here. Michael's hand not very aggressive itself, so this gives Gerry the opportunity to kind of come at Michael.
We have news from the other match. Lauren Nolan goes up a game against Ronnie Rittner in the Delver Mirror in the other semifinal match. Michael leads off with Bird of Paradise. Looks like he drew Huntmaster for the turn.
Oh, that's a very nice draw step for Michael.
Gives him something to do, actually, as opposed to... He had lots of... I don't think that it was a particularly good hand against Gerry, but he had lands and spells.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't that bad of a hand, though, because it gives him a lot of time, and... It
would let him move to the late game.
Accelerates.
The Delver would delay... the Deceiver would have delayed an early Delver, for example.
Yeah, well, the Crushing Vines kind of takes the wind out of anything that Gerry can do, and then he already has the natural Kessig Wolf Run, which is going to be really good against Gerry in the late game. So
Gerry drew a Hero of Blade Holds, by the way, off of that Gitaxian Probe. That's likely going to be an important part of this game. Although Michael does have the Deceiver Exarch to hold off on the immediate 7 that it would deal.
Yeah, I think... So the major reason Michael's keep is very good is because it's a defensive hand that keeps him in the game at parity with card advantage with just about any of Delver's post-board draws against him. And if he goes to a late game against Delver, he wins.
Now, interesting here, Gerry does not play a spell and does not attack. So I'm...
Yeah, I mean, well, he can't attack because of Deceiver Exarch.
Oh, that's true. He did have the 3 mana up.
So...
But not playing anything either. No, not even a measly Delver, which he does have in hand. Here's a Deceiver Exarch. Main phase. Probably going to untap a land to play a 2-drop, I would imagine. Or not.
Yeah, just...
Oh, this is Deceiver on Gerry's upkeep to tap the white mana.
Yes.
So we have another werewolf of some kind. He does have a Daybreak Ranger in his deck.
I believe that's another Huntmaster, however. It is the Dark Ascension.
The Dark Ascension checklist card. Jinx, Yomi Coke. You don't know that one?
No.
Really? It's when you say something the same sentence. And
Okay. So
all right, we'll move on. I'm sorry.
It's all right.
I'll explain Jinx to you later. So Mike,
Delver of Secrets from Gerry.
right? Michael mulling over his options. Gerry representing Manalik.
And Michael going to try to get a Hunt Master on the next turn. See, by
Looks
making
like
the Deceiver Exarch play during Gerry's upkeep, Michael denies Gerry the opportunity to use his to use any sort of mana leak effectively, and here he's going to get to continue down that route by casting a Borderland Ranger.
Borderland Ranger with 3 mana up to be able to go get a land to be able to cast those Hunt Masters past Mana Leak.
Yeah, and Michael doing an incredible job here of just playing around literally everything.
Yes. Gerry likely has an Angel here, though, which may cause Michael a little bit of a problem. Well, there it is.
And the Angel definitely quite good here against Michael. Michael's going to have to use his Crushing Vines right now, I would presume.
Yep.
And that's what he's going to do. And that's actually quite good for Michael because it allows him to use his mana efficiently, whereas he's been playing around Mana Leak the whole time.
I believe the draw for Gerry was Gut Shot. Yep, there's the red. He's got double Mana Leak. And Delver of Secrets.
And Hero.
And Hero, yes. So I would not expect to see Hero. Well, maybe we'll see Hero this turn. I would not expect to see Hero this turn.
Seems unlikely.
Yeah, there's another Delver. Gut Shot the birds to be able to prevent Michael from casting a Hunt Master past Mana Leak. I believe both players are on the same level here, knowing what's going on.
They both know what's in the other one's hand. Gerry knows what's in Michael's hand because of Taxian Probe.
And because he can look into their soul.
Yes. Michael is on pure soul reads right now.
Michael drew a Phantasmal Image for the turn. Not as good in post-boarded games, but still quite good, especially because Michael has plenty of creatures that he wishes to copy himself, such as Hunt Master of the Fells.
Yep. Even Borderline Ranger.
Yeah.
I actually don't hate copying Borderline Ranger at all here.
It does apply more bodies to the board. Allows him to cast Hunt Master next turn with impunity, or so he thinks. Gerry has 4 or 2 Mana Leaks. Oh, he's going to just pass the turn.
Oh, he has Crushing Vines.
He does have Crushing Vines, that's right.
Then the pass makes quite a bit of sense.
Gerry not flipping the Delvers once again. It's only a matter of time before they flip, though. These two guys will stare across no man's land from the trenches at each other, first trying not to be the first one to blink.
And Michael drawing a Strangleroot Geist there. That's going to give his game plan a little bit of an aggressive slant, but he's still unable to cast these Hunt Masters and pay for a Mana Leak, so he's going to need to wait to draw another land before he's going to do that. And Hetrick deciding to Phantasmal Image. Probably going to copy the Borderland Ranger.
I would imagine so.
Maybe could have made this play last turn, but
decided to try to be patient, see if he could draw it off the top.
Yeah, well, he wasn't quite sure of the information until this turn, so.
Additionally, Gerry can theoretically have 6 mana next turn, which will let him cast a 4 mana spell, be it either Hero, which he has, or a Restoration Angel, as well as have Mana Leak mana.
Yeah, and the other nice thing about Michael Hetrick's play of copying the Borderland Ranger that turn is that it also allows him to cast the Strangleroot Geist while being able to pay for Mana Leak on this very turn.
Yep.
So, some really tight play here from Michael Hetrick.
He does no longer have green mana available, so his Crushing Vines will not be able to take down an Angel if it's played. I don't think Gerry had. I'm not sure if Gerry had one.
From Michael.
Oh, we're gonna flip with a gut shot. That's a pretty decent one to see, actually. This can either take down a phantasmal image, or it can deal with a Strangleroot Geist. News from the other match: Lauren Nolan is up 2-0 on Ronnie Rittner. So Gerry now with 2 flipped Delvers, 2 insectile aberrations. Do you think that he can start chipping away at Michael's life total?
Yes. He needs to.
Okay.
I mean, he cannot try to go for a long game.
Yes,
it
I
doesn't
agree.
work. Yeah, and I mean that's one of the problems here for Gerry, is that Gerry is somebody who can play these really aggressive decks, who's very comfortable settling into a long game and playing a card advantage war against people because of how experienced he is. But against Michael, he's not going to be able to do that.
That's right. Michael's deck is much better set up to be in the long game, and that's exactly what's going to happen here. Gerry has decided, you know what? The Mana Leak fight is over. You feel free to cast those Mana Leaks. Is that an Inferno Titan?
Perhaps. I don't think so. I think that's in Birds of Paradise. Michael.
Well, I think he had the bird the whole time. Oh no. What is
he
that?
He has double Huntmaster, and I don't know what the other.
I can't tell what the other cards are. Gerry's threatening a lot of damage on this next turn.
Yeah, and
if he attacks all out.
Interesting. If Gerry had played the hero earlier, it would have been even stronger.
But they were playing the do-si-do around Mana Leak, so Gerry's decided to give up the Mana Leak for the turn to be able to get the advantage, which has delayed Michael enough that he hasn't put the Huntmaster on the board. Had he played it earlier, a Huntmaster may have come down.
Yeah, but I mean, the Huntmaster would have. I guess playing it now means that he plays it when he has the Flip Delvers also.
Yes.
Which
is very, very good.
Yeah.
So Michael's going to play Huntmaster of the Fells, the card with the most words on it in the history of Magic the Gathering.
Is that true?
Yep. Front and back, all told, put together, it has the most words of any card.
More than Ice Cauldron?
Well, Oracle text.
Okay.
So Crushing Vines on a Insectile Aberration from Michael.
And Gerry can no longer be passing the turn here because now the Huntmaster will flip if the spell's not played on a turn.
There's a lot of 2-power guys on Michael's side of the board.
Yeah, this is a somewhat convoluted board state for both of these players. Hero of Bladehold, able to punch through massive amounts of damage, but at the same time, Michael can just trade off, a Borderland Ranger and a Phantasmal Image with it, and Michael actually ends up ahead on that trade.
Yes.
Because the Borderland Ranger and Phantasmal Image both already searched for a card. The 2 1/1s that will be created by Hero of Bladehold, one of them will be eaten by Deceiver Exarch, and the other one will either trade with something or just
Michael will
Michael
take
for 2, which is not really.
And Gerry can't attack really with the Snapcaster Mage that will become a 3/1 because that'll just get eaten by the Deceiver Exarch. And then both tokens will presumably either get through for 4 damage, which would put Michael to 10, which is still not that great, or trade with one of the other 2/2s on the board, of which Michael has a lot. So Gerry in a little bit of a pickle here. I'm sure he'll figure it out. I have faith. So we kept in Geist, at least some number.
Interesting.
We may have shaved that number down. Decent, I suppose, right now.
It's fine. I don't know.
Gives him something to do on his turn to not flip a Delver. He can stack the triggers on Hero of Bladehold and Geist of St. Traft in order to give the Battle Cry to the Angel as well, which may be relevant next turn.
Yeah, Michael
has a Strangleroot Geist in hand, sorry.
Yeah, Michael can also, right now, just passing the turn with the Huntmaster might be the strongest play. Getting to shoot down the insectile aberration.
Yep,
but
he's going to not
The thing is,
do
you
that.
never know whether or not Gerry has that instant. It's just a really risky play to make.
Yeah, Gerry could theoretically have Thought Scour or Vapor Snag. Perhaps another Gut Shot or a Dismember. Many options that Gerry could have there. So the Huntmaster's going to resolve. The Bird of Paradise will not.
The Bird of Paradise gets Mana Leaked, and that's the thing. That's the way Michael Hetrick has made Gerry play this game. Gerry has not had an opportunity to Mana Leak anything.
Yep.
Not
So
a
he-
single spell until that Birds of Paradise.
Yeah, Gerry had to
Gerry
get
had to Mana
some
Leak a
value.
turn 7 Birds of Paradise just so he
Paradise.
could get some value out
Yep.
of them.
That's pretty rough.
So at this point, the board getting pretty clogged up, which is exactly what Michael wants to happen. And Michael's deck is capable of, making this hero somewhat, of a non-issue.
Yeah.
And it can easily become an issue, but with Michael at 18, I don't know. It's going to take some work to beat Gerry at this point.
So the Gut Shot that we knew about from a long, long time ago when it flipped 2 Delvers is going to take care of a Phantasmal Image and pass the turn just to continuing to play the Huntmaster sub-game here.
And Michael has a few options here. He can use his mana on a Wolf Run this turn if he wants to.
I don't believe we know what is remaining in Michael's hand. Yeah, he can utilize all of his mana on the Wolf Run and then flip the Huntmasters still, assuming Gerry doesn't have an instant speed play, which will let him do something on his turn and not just say pass.
Can he just swing with everything and then
And then
he gets in for-
Wolf
Gerry
Run,
has a
whatever.
Vapor Snag, he gets blown out. then.
Yes.
I guess Gerry could very easily have a Vapor Snag at this point in the game.
Michael weighing
But,
the options, as are we.
I mean, the way this game is played out, it's likely that... How many cards does Gerry have in hand?
I think he has 3.
3. Okay, so... Yeah, Gerry's hand is just 2 Mana Leaks and a land, so if Michael was brave enough to send his whole team into the red zone, he would just win. Of course, brave and stupid are very similar.
Yes. Make 'em have it is a statement that I've heard a lot of players play that, shall we say, miss out on top 8 at the last possible moment. Yep, and that's what's going to happen, though.
Yeah, but
Michael's weighed the options. He's decided that he doesn't think that Gerry likely has it. Gerry cleaning up the board for us so that we know where the blocks are. So,
Yep.
Insect and Hero are going to block the 2 Huntmasters. Snapcaster Mage will trade with a Wolf. The Geist will trade with a Borderland Ranger. And Mike will get through for 7? No, 5.
No, he can use his Kessig Wolf Run.
And he can use his Kessig Wolf Run, yes. Should he use it?
Yeah, and I believe he will, because even if he does, then he still has the mana to cast a spell in his hand. I mean, if you make this attack, you have to go for the Wolf Run.
Well, he would still be ahead on the board. Gerry would only be left with a Hero, and he would be at 11 afterwards.
Well, you die to a swing back if he has a Restoration Angel if you don't go for it. So,
I suppose, yeah. Counting the battle cry. I was looking at the math and forgot about the battle cry for a minute. Now the other
instead choosing to pump the Huntmaster
Yep.
and
To kill the Hero.
ensure that he's going to be able to kill this hero blade hold.
This block would, of course, end the Huntmaster sub-game that had been developing. That would have done a lot to keep Restoration Angels off the table. So there's a lot of trades happening. Much cleaner board now. Gerry is going to take 5.
Go down to 3 here.
Go down to 3 life with no further creatures in play or in hand. Gerry draws another land, and Michael will go up 2 games to none.
Michael Hetrick, playing this match really well. Played the last match really well too.
Yeah, well.
Gerry also
sensing
playing really
a theme.
Well.
Yep.
Man, are these guys good or something?
I guess. I don't know. Maybe I guess good players win the big, or do it well in the big tournaments. So Gerry will once again be on the play, meaning that he will likely keep in the Mana Leaks, although he kept in the Geists. So we don't know exactly how he sideboarded. Our guess was incorrect.
Yeah, our guess was definitely incorrect because he still had Geist in his deck. He did, however, definitely have the Hero Blade hold.
Yep.
I don't know if he's even going to bring in the Divine Offering. Maybe it's a one-of, so he could have had it. Definitely has images. Can't imagine a world where he doesn't.
Right.
But I mean, maybe he doesn't. That's the thing is, Rugpod is not a deck that most people have sideboarding experience against, and it's also a very complex deck that's hard to play with and against. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I've been so excited watching this deck is because I'm at times very unsure how he's sideboarding or what his plans are for things.
Yeah, Gerry, I mean, we can sit here and theorize all day and still not have as much information as Gerry has on the deck. He plays Delver better and more than anyone else in the world. And so I'm sure the Geist of St. Traft was the correct decision. I mean, there's no other way to put it, right?
Yeah.
So Gerry down 2 games to none against Michael Hetrick. Remember, BBD was also down 2 games to none against Michael Hetrick. Came back to force a game 5 and then lost.
Yes.
So,
of course, BBD also had a deck that was so well positioned,
significantly better against Michael's deck.
And I don't think it's safe to say that Gerry having Geist in his deck was correct. Good players do make bad decisions from time to time, and maybe it was correct. I would like to hear the reasoning for it, but I'm not sure. Maybe it's correct on the play, not correct on the draw.
Yeah, if he plays a turn 3 Geist on the play and Michael does not have the Phantasmal Image for it, it's an extremely fast clock because Gerry has lots of ways to interact with Michael's board. He's got 4 Vapor Snags, a Dismember, 3 Gut Shots to be able to do lots of things to muck up the works, as well as Restoration Angel to blink the Geist after attacks.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I think Gerry kind of just wanted to punch through and kill Michael as fast as possible.
Yeah. Both players know that once the game goes long, it's in Michael's favor.
Definitely.
None of the long game cards, and by that I guess I only mean the 2 long game cards that Gerry has in his sideboard, 2 Tameo the Moon Sage, those aren't very good against Michael's deck.
I don't think they are either. He has the ability to have a somewhat flooded board, and it's Michael. He's going to find a way to, like, he probably has a single Zealous Conscript still in his deck here. So if you ever try to tap out for a big Planeswalker, especially like as a Birthing Pod Engine deck, Michael can really punish you.
Yes.
And put you super far behind. So not something that Gerry wants to see happen. I think, Gerry has to be the aggro here if he wants to win. He has to be as aggressive as possible. And it's hard to be the aggro all the time when you're a a
deck,
blue-white deck with
yeah.
counter spells, and you're playing against a green deck with 2/1 hastes.
Yep.
But that's what he needs to do if he's going to win this.
Yeah, it's not going to be easy, certainly, but it's certainly possible. It's that's why they actually play the games. So if he has to, we still think the same sideboard cards came in. If he has to be the aggro, for example, we think Timelies are still in.
I don't think the Timelies come in. If he's planning on playing a super aggressive game, I think his sideboard playing is Phantasmal Images and Hero Blade Holes.
Okay. Now,
and maybe the One Divine Offering. I don't know.
Sure. Now, Hetrick is mulliganing to 6 here. Looks like he's going to keep his 6. Gerry starts out with Seachrome Coast and Ponder. There's a little bit of talk on Twitter about possible bannings happening, and the most likely culprit of that is going to be, oh man, that was interesting. So turn 1, Bird of Paradise for Michael Hetrick. Gerry flips over immediately and shows the gut shot that he knew was right there.
Please head on over to the open stage.
Here's Geist likely being met with Mana Leak.
Yep.
There's a little bit of chatter on Twitter about the bannings in Standard being possible, and the most likely culprit, or the most likely victim of that, is Ponder, I would imagine, as most people have been saying in the social networking circles. There's Delver of Secrets from Gerry Thompson.
See, this is the type of draw that Gerry wants to have.
Yes.
Having that Ponder, the gut shot to deal with the turn 1 mana guy, and the...
So this just in, Lauren Nolan has won his match 3-0 over Ronnie Rittner. Quite impressive.
Yeah, that is really impressive.
There's a hero. So this is a threatening board. Jeez. Michael also missed a land drop last turn. Gerry, smelling blood in the water, immediately jams the hero.
Yeah, I mean, if you can get a hero onto a board where Michael doesn't have anything, Michael's just dead. So, I mean, Michael can conceivably maybe like tap it down with a Deceiver Exarch on Gerry's turn, buy himself a little bit of time, but then he's still taking beats from Delver or from the Insectile Aberration. I mean, Michael's deck really doesn't have a good way to interact with the hero.
This is going to upkeep tap hero, I imagine. Yep, there it is.
Just by doing that, he makes sure that Gerry has one less card that could be a Mana Leak.
Yep. He, in fact, has Dismember Vapor Snag, so anything that Michael plays for the rest of the game. This is a Daybreak Ranger, looks like.
Yes.
So Gerry has a couple things he can do to this Daybreak Ranger, should he so choose. I imagine what's going to happen is Vapor Snag on one of them, Dismember on the other. Yep. Gerry's going to be coming in for 11 this turn.
Yeah. A full 11.
So, yeah, that's going to be the end.
And
still had all these Restoration Angels. So Gerry Thompson pulling one back, going 1-2 on Michael Hetrick.
And that was the type of draw that Gerry wants to have.
Yes. Well, and also it's the type of draw he wants Michael to have, missing the second land drop or the third land drop on turn 3. So now that we're on, now that Gerry is on the draw and Michael's on the play, do you think there are any different sideboarding changes? The Mana Leaks being the main crux of this argument. Do you think that he takes the Mana Leaks out?
I don't know. It depends. I think maybe the more I'm watching this, the more I'm thinking that Gerry just needs to be as aggressive as possible, and he might just keep that sideboard plan that he's on. I think on the draw, he really needs to hope that Michael stumbles. I don't think he can. Playing for a long game is not a winning proposition for Gerry here. Michael has pods. They just create too much of an incremental advantage for him. Michael also just he's going to play around the cards he needs to play around. He's not just going to step into all of Gerry's tricks and let himself get dismantled.
Speaking of tricks, one thing that we did not reference that I don't know if I'm sure Gerry has considered it. I'm not sure it's good, is my point. Is he does have one surgical extraction, and Michael does have Strangleroot Geist. And so if he can manage to set up gut shot surgical extraction on
that's
a
terrible.
Geist,
No, you can't. Like sideboarding against surgical extraction against decks that aren't like dedicated like graveyard reanimation decks, it's just like siding in dead cards. Like when people try to sideboard in surgical extraction, even though it's a one-of against Strangleroot Geist decks, it's a disaster. Like you see so many people lose for doing that. It's just those of you listening at home, I see people doing this all the time. I try to stop people from doing it. Don't sideboard in surgical extraction
against non-graveyard decks.
Like undying things. It's not, if somebody has some flashback mechanic that is the crux of their deck, obviously you should side it in. But
not here.
Really, the goal, the reason you should bring surgical extraction in standard is because your opponent has unburial rights in their deck, and I think there are very few situations where you'd side it in otherwise.
Fair enough.
So here we are. We're about to go into game 4 here. Michael, on the play this game, that's going to give Gerry some problems, especially if Michael has a turn 1 bird or elf. It could be really problematic here for Gerry.
Yeah.
Now, it's going to be interesting in this game 4 because, I mean, the first game was so decisively won by Michael. The second game was close, but it ended up going long, and as a result, Michael was able to steal it away. And the third game, Gerry just completely destroyed Michael.
Yeah.
So right now we've had kind of a close match.
Yeah,
and
I would agree.
I mean, this could still go either way. Obviously, you have to think Michael's a favorite. He has 2 more games, 2 more opportunities to win.
On the play.
And he's going to be on the play in both of those games. Then going into the finals, Michael will play against the same type of deck, a Delver of Secrets deck, and will get to be on the play again. If I had to pick a winner for this tournament, I would say that Michael Hetrick is my pick to win at this point.
Well, he certainly is. He's ahead right now, and if he moves on to the final, he will play against another deck that he would have just beaten. Having already dispatched of a deck that was considered to be he was a heavy underdog for. That seems like a good pick. So Michael starts out with a Copperline Gorge. Does not have a mana creature on turn 1. He does, however, have Strangleroot Geist, Birthing Pod, and I believe Daybreak Ranger, as well as Forest and Hinterland Harbor and another Copperline Gorge. So he will have turn 2 Geist and turn 3 Pod, should he go on unmolested here. Gerry has land, and a blue card of some kind in his Ponder on turn 1. There he is.
So the Gitaxian Probe and Ponder on turn 1 there for Gerry. Be interested to ask him after these matches how he decided to sideboard here.
Yeah.
And whether or not it was dramatically different on the play and draw. I'm sure it was slightly different. The match definitely changes.
Yeah.
But I really, I can't reiterate enough that Gerry just has to be as aggressive as he possibly can be.
Gerry decides to keep the top of his library. Here's a Strangleroot Geist from Michael, dropping Gerry down to 16.
And just being the first person on the table, really important here. That seems to be a recurring theme in the current standard format, is just getting onto the table first. It's usually a big advantage.
Gerry going to Silvergill Adept here to reveal a hand that now includes a Zealous Conscript. Gerry apparently did not have a mana leak for this possible turn 3 Birthing Pod from Michael.
Yeah, so Gerry already Phyrexian manaing himself down quite a bit. Michael crashing in again here with the Strangleroot Geist, threatening to put Gerry down to 12. Gerry's going to have to decide whether or not he wants to. Oh, and he does.
He
wants
does.
to block, turn this Stranglergeist into a 3/2.
And I think that that's very good. I think that
well, it's super dependent on what's in Gerry's hand, because now I mean, usually with a card with Undying, you want to chump block it on the last possible turn. Otherwise, like if you take hits from it after blocking and trading with it, then blocking and trading with it was not correct. So it's really dependent on what Gerry has in his hand. Like if Gerry takes 3 here on the next turn from the Stranglergeist, then it was not correct.
sure.
But he obviously is not going to do that. I think he's trying to. He was hoping that Michael didn't have a 3-drop, so that he could play something that could trade with the Stranglergeist, and he could just 2-for-1 himself. He's already gained a little bit of card advantage by flashing back the Jitaxian Probe, the Snapcaster Mage. So, that replaced itself. He had a little bit of a Phyrexian Rager effect, and it's something he can kind of just throw away as long as he has another guy he can trade with the other half Stranglergeist.
So it looks like Gerry has 2 lands in hand, accompanied by 6 spells currently. I am mistaken, I think. Nope, that's right. It's Plains Island. He also has Geist, which is what's going to come into play. Geist of Saint Traft. Now, Michael does have Hinterland Harbor. So if he had top-decked the Phantasmal Image here, that game would have been all but over. But does not.
And, interesting. I can't really see all of the cards in his hand. He has Zealous Conscripts. What else does he have?
Looks like a Llanowar
Brain
Elf,
cards?
a Birthing Pod, and 2 lands.
Okay, so he has a pod.
He has a pod that he could play.
And Gerry saw the power of the Jitaxian Probe?
Yes.
Oh, so that greatly increases the value again of the block with Snapcaster Mage. But it's still so I think Gerry probably has to block here, which is pretty rough. Michael may just pod away the Daybreak Ranger. And if the Stranglergeist doesn't get blocked, he's going to pod that away, I assume. Probably for a Borderline Ranger.
So Michael also has the possibility, although unlikely, of simply passing the turn to flip Daybreak Ranger into Nightfall Predator. Nightfall Predator not great on the current board, but will be able to deal with literally everything that Gerry plays for the rest of the game, including Hero of Bladehold, which Michael has a tough time dealing with. That's not what's going to happen this turn. Birthing Pod's going to come down, and he's going to take 4 Phyrexian life loss to get rid of that Daybreak Ranger.
Now let's see. Grabbing a Huntmaster of the Fells, a very strong card against Blue-White Delver. Going to make a wolf and bring himself back up to 20 here. And the big problem, the problem with trying to flip a Daybreak Ranger into a Nightfall Predator against Delver, especially in the first 5 or 6 turns of the game, even, is that it leaves you very open to something like Vapor Stack.
Yeah.
And or Dismember, and losing that key turn of not casting any spells can just be brutal.
Michael has a very advantageous board position right now. It's going to be tough for Gerry to come back from this, I think.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I mean,
7 power, an active pod, still some cards in hand, including a Zealous Conscripts that I don't believe Gerry knows about. Oh no, yes he does. He does know about it.
From the flashback.
From the flashback Jitaxian Probe.
Gerry at just 11 life now.
Gerry does have to do something this turn, or else Ravager of the Fells will be appearing once the moon rises.
A Ravager of the Fells, quite a powerful magic card.
Yeah, I would agree.
Now, Huntmaster is just kind of awesome.
Huntmaster's very good.
Especially strong in a pod deck where you have things to do that don't involve casting spells.
Yes. So if you have a pod on the table and a 3-drop, you can pod up a Huntmaster and immediately flip it.
Mm-hmm.
Gerry's going to put an Angel into play for attacking.
So,
This likely will be a Restoration Angel.
yeah, I'm expecting a Restoration Angel to just bounce the Geist.
And there it is.
I remember when the Geist, I remember when the Wolf would still die from that.
Yep. Man, I miss the old days. Damage on the stack.
The old days, like 2 years
The
ago.
old days 2 years ago. Well, I started playing when batches were around. Were you around when batches were around? For like a 6-month period, there were batches, and then I had to relearn Magic again. That was fun for 12-year-old Ruben. So Michael has land. I believe that's another Huntmaster, Llanowar Elf, Zealous Conscripts.
Yeah, so here,
So he can just steal
a big game. Yeah,
the
steal
Angel.
the Angel.
Gerry's going to go to 1 here.
Yeah. Taking a full 10 here.
Gerry on the ropes. Michael on the verge of making it into the finals. But as long as you have a chip and a chair, you're still in the tournament.
Yeah, a Ponder for Gerry. Finds a Celestial Purge. I'm not really sure what Gerry's looking for at this point. Especially with that active pod on the table. It's going to be really tough because I'm assuming Michael has, post-board, his deck's really malleable between the main deck and sideboard. He's playing a lot of extra copies of cards that he already has one of in the main deck. So it can be difficult to tell what Hetrick's deck is capable of, but a big problem for Gerry right now is that he needs to cast a spell every one of his turns and every one of Hetrick's turns to prevent the Huntmaster from flipping and killing him. And he needs to get the Zealous Conscripts off the table and keep it off the table to prevent it from potting into an Inferno Titan, which could also kill him.
Now,
So-
Michael can also just pass the turn to deal 2 damage
Exactly.
to Gerry. So
So-
there's not a lot of... this is quite the tightrope act that Gerry is going to have to perform in order to win this game.
All right, so let's see what he's got.
Phantasmal Image is going to copy Huntmaster to put him to 3.
Yep.
All right.
Gonna go up 3 here and make a Wolf untap. And Michael, probably just going to search up an Inferno Titan and kill Gerry.
Assuming Michael still has the Inferno Titan in the deck, which we don't know.
That's true, we don't know.
We will know soon enough. This looks like he's going to just pot up another Strangleroot Geist.
No, he must not have the Inferno Titan in the deck.
Yeah. Potting up a Strangleroot Geist here, and then sending 4 men into the red zone. Actually, Zealous Conscripts, I believe the art is a female, so 4 people into the red zone.
So obviously, Phantasmal Image.
Phantasmal Image
so
will...
he's
I see.
Zealous Conscripts.
So there's the game.
And takes the Restoration Angel.
Michael Hetrick defeats Gerry Thompson 3-1.
So how many Phantasmal Images? Oh, okay. That makes sense.
To
I thought there was 1, so...
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah. To move on to the finals, where he will face Lauren Nolan.
Yeah.
Not a household name by any means. He did win the Star City Games Open in